Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody this Saturday evening? So, normally tonight we'd be doing recovery room. So, tonight, recovery room is going to be a little bit different because me and my friend, Dr. Candace, we're going to be talking about self esteem, talking about, oh my goodness, self esteem and all the things great. What's up?
Oh, I'm trying to fix stuff. Can you hear me?
I can hear you real good.
I
I can hear you really good. I'm gonna try to get some more people in the
don't know why
room.
I can't hear.
You can't? That's
Well,
weird.
I can, but not as loud.
Not as like, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep. So I
I
said,
wonder
let me.
why.
No, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm on a speaker. I'm on the headphones. Can you hear me?
I can hear you though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on these.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on some crazy
How are
headphones.
you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am good. It's Saturday, and I'm so glad to be here with you.
Girl, I know that's right. I know that's right. So happy to be here with you also. I'm so glad, when me and you talked about doing this, I was like,
Yes.
this is something that is definitely needed, and I am just glad that we was able to get it started. What's up, Jermaine? No problem. It was awesome coming through. I still got to go through your site because I seen a couple things. I got to go through your site and check it out again. But this evening, everybody, myself and Dr. Candace, we decided to call ourselves the Therapy Sisters with
That's
the
right.
mental health plug. And we came up with this because we know there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of different mental health issues that they want to discuss, and they have trouble discussing some of the issues that is out there that they may be plagued with. And you could jump in wherever, Dr. Candace. And we just figured we would talk to everybody about different topics. So it's not going to be every week. It's probably going to either be once every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or so. But we wanted to get started, this evening with, introducing y'all to what we're doing, and this is a new segment that's in the recovery room. And yeah. And so,
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're excited to be here. Like Dr. T said, I call her Dr. T. Like Dr. Tyra said, that is something that we wanted to start because mental health is starting to be talked about a little more now.
mm-hmm.
And we need to start implementing it more and more. May is mental health month. So right on,
Yes,
we came through
we
May
came
1st.
through May
We showed
1st.
up. So that's a good thing. So
Yes, we
yeah, that's a
did.
good thing that we showed up because
Mm-hmm.
it's May 1st and yeah, it's mental health month. And we just
Yes.
really need to break that stigma and make it comfortable about
Mm-hmm.
talking about mental health, all things mental health, because everybody got mental health.
Yes. Yep.
You got it. So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's lay it all out there. Let's lay it flat out there so everybody knows exactly what it is, and know
Absolutely.
that, it's okay to not be okay, you know.
Exactly. And also with Dr. Tyra and I, her and I have discussed this so many times that this is the
Mm-hmm.
new therapy. Back then, that's why a lot of people have that stigma of not going to see a therapist or
Mm-hmm.
going to speak with someone
Yep.
because sometimes you feel judged or the
Mm-hmm.
person that's sitting across you. Let me kind of adjust my mirror, everyone. The person that's sitting across from you may not understand or you feel
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand,
Right.
and or they was just throwing maybe medication out at you or not
Mm-hmm.
helping you or not culturally competent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a lot. However, Dr. Tyra and I are bringing in a new therapy. There's no judgment. We are trying to create a safe
Mm-hmm.
platform where you can come here,
Mm-hmm.
listen to us, share with us, grow with us, be inspired by us, and let us let us bring whatever we can, all things mental health. So that is what we decided to do. And we're growing and learning as we do this because her and I are
Exactly.
both lifelong learners. We
Mm-hmm.
continue to educate ourselves to be able to help the community and our people. So that's why we're
Yes.
here. So
Yeah.
this is the new therapy. So everybody that's coming up in here, thinking you about to get the old therapy where they do it the old way and the judgment
Mm-hmm.
and the negativity. Look, everybody got mental health.
Yep.
Dr. Tyra and I, we're going to bring it. We're going to try to inspire you, give you new ways and coping
Yep.
skills, and just have grown folk conversation about mental health because
Yes.
everybody got it and everybody needs to take care of it, especially in these times. Okay, that was my rant.
I know. Look, I know that's right. Look, and it was good, and it wasn't a rant. It was good. So one of the topics that I thought we could discuss is self-esteem. I thought we would start the month off with self-esteem. A couple days ago I was sharing with Dr. Candace that, some weird things going on Instagram. And one of the weird things that happened was someone sent a message to a friend asking for pretty much help, and the friend never ever ever talked to this individual ever in his whole entire life. And he's just like, I don't know this person, this, that, and the other. But as I was reading, I'm like, yo, this is all built on self-esteem. And it's just like seeking out, people out here seeking out help when they don't, to people that they don't know, people that they feel might not judge them, people that, just anybody, and, sometimes that can be good. And thank goodness that person, spoke to someone who was safe
Absolutely.
opposed to somebody who wasn't safe, because there's a lot of people out there who are not safe, and the person gave, pretty really good advice, and I applauded them for giving that good advice, because it could have went left, but because because
Absolutely.
because the person's like, yo, didn't know what to make out of it, but all I could say is, just do you and just be comfortable in the skin you in, but
And
this
it's
is
and
an
it's
issue.
difficult. And when you and I
Hmm.
was discussing that, and people reaching out to random people,
Hmm.
a lot of times they reaching out. Well, I really don't know. So I want to
Hmm.
just clarify that we don't know. People reach
Right.
out for various reasons, but
Right.
for the sake of this talk this evening, I'm
Hmm.
just going to go on a limb and say that it sounds like that person reached out to that random person for attention.
Right.
People do some of the unthinkable things for
Yes,
attention.
they do.
And self-esteem, when you said, let's do our first segment on self-esteem, right on. And a lot of people, I don't think, kind of know what it is. It's
Right.
the perception of how you feel about you,
Exactly.
standing firm, and how you feel
Hmm.
about you has
Hmm.
nothing to do with anyone else. And you
Right.
can't be moved from that. Even if the other party feel a certain way about you. You like, oh, not my monkeys, not my circus. It's how I feel about me. So
Right.
self-esteem, a lot of people have tainted self-esteem. Even
Hmm.
the most beautiful women have
Right.
tainted self-esteem. It has nothing
Hmm.
to do with looks. It could start from being a little girl, grew up to be a
Hmm.
beautiful woman. I'm
Right.
just saying for the sake of men as well, can grow up to
Hmm.
be a handsome, extraordinary man.
Yep.
However, if you were treated a certain way and that is embedded and that's just what you know,
Right.
then that's kind of how it is. So
Exactly.
people, and I'll give you a small example, and
Hmm.
this is really small. Someone can say, "Oh my God, Tyra, your hair is so beautiful," and you like, "Girl, I just put this together."
Hmm.
It said when someone says that to me, that's kind of like a little green flag to me.
Hmm.
And the reason why I say color green, mental health, the little
Right.
green flag to me is because a thank you is good enough. But when
Right.
someone cannot accept compliments,
Right. Add in the extra.
yeah, it kind of
That's a
tells you,
problem. Hmm.
and I'm not saying it's always like that, but you're kind of downplaying it.
Right.
You don't know how to
Hmm.
accept compliments, and
Hmm.
people like, oh my God, you're this, and you're doing so good, you're doing well in school,
And
you
it's
this
like,
and
well,
that,
no, not
and
me, because I could use work on this, and I could do that, and oh no, that's not the
exactly,
right thing, and oh well, no, that's not necessarily true, and the list goes
exactly.
on and on and on.
It just keep going. It's a cycle. And
Mhm.
self-esteem is tricky too, everyone. And Dr. T, you know this as well.
Mhm.
Other people, you can have a self-esteem and be on a certain level because there are levels and there are
Right.
different types of self-esteem.
Right.
However, you can have a high frequency of self-esteem, and
Mhm.
that's not even being conceited. That's just
Right.
confidence, really
Mhm.
good, high self-esteem. However, you can get involved in a relationship and walk
Mhm.
away with damn near no self-esteem to low because
Exactly.
others can make you feel a certain way as well.
Mhm. And
Your
and the
job, you can go into a
yep.
job feeling like, I got this, and
About it.
leaving like, hell, I need unemployment. Self esteem all taken.
Exactly, because the thing is, they bring you
Yeah,
down, and it's like you go in there thinking you the smartest thing in the world, and by the time they finish stripping you of, well, you don't know this and you don't know that, and it's just like you sitting there, and at the end of the day, how long can you fake the funk of not knowing? You're
Absolutely.
sitting there, you're pretending like you know everything, and then before it's all over, they either found you out or you done got to the point where you gave up. You know,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know.
that's true. Their
Mhm.
relationships, it's a lot.
Mhm.
Especially, yeah, like someone wrote, especially in relationships.
Yes.
Relationships can really taint your self-esteem if you allow it.
Right.
If you allow it. It's situational. It
Yep.
is. So I want to digress for a minute because Dr. T, you brought up something and we were going on a topic and we kind of, about the situation about someone
Mhm.
asking someone a random question
Right.
about their appearance and what they should do. People
Right.
have to be careful with that. And I am glad that the person that asked the other person that they created a safe space and just like gave the general basic
Yeah.
answer. You
Right.
need to do what's best for you.
Right.
However, let's try him on that. For the sake of this broadcast today, am I allowed to say the cosmetic surgery? Am I allowed to say?
Yes,
Because
you
me
can.
personally, I think cosmetic surgery is good. It is. You just have to do your research a doctor, whatever.
Mhm.
However, you have to be careful, but you have to do what's best for you.
But you got to be a hundred
And you
percent
have to be
ready.
emotionally ready,
Mhm.
emotionally and psychologically ready.
Right.
And you have to do it for the right reasons. You should not
Exactly.
try to alter something
For
on your
someone
body.
else.
Whether it's your boobs, trying to get a tummy tuck, a BBL, girl,
Fix your face. None of that. If you're not
you
doing
don't
it
have to
for
do all that.
you,
Because some
then
of the
don't
men
do
I
it.
know, they ain't even looking at all that. Because once the lights off,
Everybody the same color,
they
and
just,
everybody
right?
and
So
everybody
you
look the
have to
same.
do what's best for you. Absolutely. So you just do what's best for you, but don't do it for
Mhm.
someone else.
Right.
That's not good. And if you go
Mhm.
to a doctor, wherever you go, cosmetic surgery, and they doing it, but they need to ask the psychological components that come with that.
Mhm.
Why are you doing this? What is
Right.
your reasoning? That's always a
Mhm.
question that I ask.
Right.
Even
Why?
my
Mhm.
my clientels in my private practice. What is your
Mhm.
reasoning behind that?
And that's the thing. A lot of states are not doing the psychological exams to even
Yeah.
ask, and so that should be a question too. Because even with what is weight loss surgery,
Hmm.
they should be getting psychological exams to make sure. But however, certain states don't conduct the exams. And so a lot of people flock to the states that don't provide the exams so that they can get the treatments that they want. And then when you look up, they either A, gained a lot of weight back because they wasn't mentally ready for what was about to take place, or B, they look up and they're back in treatment all over again for their face or butt lift or breast lift. And granted, sometimes there's medical issues that come up that we have to get implants and things removed. But if it's not a medical issue and you look up and you're doing things because, oh, I thought this person was going to like it and I wanted to look like them, that's not going to work.
Absolutely. Or doing it to try to fit in.
That's another thing because you do have
And you are
groups of
so
friends
right
that do
about
it.
that, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Tyra, when you said a lot of states, especially regarding the weight loss surgery,
Mm-hmm.
because if you do it and you do not feel the way you thought you were going to feel,
Mm-hmm.
get that gratification, that validation that you were
Mm-hmm.
looking for, you
Right.
can revert back and even gain more weight. So
Yes.
now we not only have to work with the psychological component of that, now your health. So your mental
Yes.
health and your health always come together. So you're
Yep.
right. So, my antenna went off when you said that. We may have to pass a bill.
That's what needs to
The
happen.
therapy sisters may have to pass a bill for that.
Yeah,
We
to
can
make it.
create a bill, put it in
Mm-hmm.
that box and
Yeah.
see if it get passed.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, so
might as
states can
well.
start having
So they
that,
can start right
absolutely.
because they need because the thing is like I know that they do it for the weight loss surgery, but are they doing it for the other components? Are they doing it for when people are getting facelifts and different other butt lifts, and are they doing it?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
see,
mean? Because
that's
that's
something we need to look into.
yeah, because people are turning themselves looking like people that they want to look like, or at least they think look beautiful to them. And then when they don't get the response, it's like, and then we find different things happening to themselves, whether it's suicide, whether it's, in a hospital, whether it's back and forth trying to fix what was already done,
Absolutely.
you
And
know?
someone just wrote that someone's friend did that and all the weight came back. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have to be emotionally and psychologically ready when you
Yes.
are trying to alter something about yourself. It's important.
Mhm.
So I want to ask, to start the conversation as well, Dr.
Yeah.
T, what do you think when it comes to self-esteem? Do you think it has a lot to do with age? Or do you think it's in the person itself? And I'm speaking about men and women.
Mhm.
What's your take on that?
I think it's within the person themselves, because when I look at the populations that I've worked with, I started out working with small. Started out actually working with geriatrics. Okay, and the geriatric population, they were they didn't they was to the point where they was just like, it's whatever. Their self-esteem, they was confident with the way things was going, because they had lived their lives, and they were cool with, with things, they just like, some of the older women dressed up, some of them didn't. It was just all about the lifestyle that they led prior, that they found to be comfortable for them, as they got older. Now, working with the children, now with the kids, it started very early. Okay, and I started working with children start at age 5 on up. Now, their self-esteem issues started from a lot of the things that they were being told at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so what they were being told at home, whether it was from brothers and sisters picking on them, whether it was parents being negative to them. So by the time you look up, it was already starting, that negative self-image was already being instilled into them, and that was affecting their self-esteem. And so that's why I say it's not really, I wouldn't go by age. I would say it's inside, because so many people have did this to them to cause them to become, have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and low self-worth. So,
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Dr. Tyra. It does. It
mhm,
starts, I do think I agree with you
mhm,
that it's not age. It's
mhm,
situational and it's the person itself. And you're absolutely right when you stated that when you were working with children and seeing it start small. Because in my
mhm,
practice, I don't work with children. I did when
mhm,
I first started many, many years ago. I'm not tell my age. And so, yes, I don't.
mhm,
However, yes, you see it because it also starts everyone in the home,
mhm.
and not necessarily I'm putting it on the parents because we all do the best we can. I'm a mom
Right.
myself.
Mhm,
However, it starts with the parents and the caregiver of how they are treated. It can
mhm,
start in school with other
mhm.
little kids,
Right.
little beautiful black and brown girls not feeling as pretty enough or light enough
Mhm.
or dark enough or
Right.
things like that. So it has a lot to play in it. So it does
Mhm.
start small. So do
Mhm.
you think, and everyone else that's listening to, Dr. T and I
Yeah.
would love to take your questions.
Yeah. Well,
Do
you had
you
one
think
comment. Mhm.
yeah, your comments. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Do
we have
you
one
think,
already.
Dr.
So
T, that with that, it's in the community? Our communities have a lot to do with it?
I think so. I think the community and society does have a lot to do with it, because a lot of people have issues with, the way we look. And when when you look at, okay, let's look at what we see on television. We look at models, we look at music videos. Kids look at music videos, they're looking at those gaming systems that they have. And when you see stuff like that, they see what the person who developed those games and stuff like that, what they perceive as beauty. When they see the
Yes.
models and everything in the magazines, and the things and the actresses and all of the things on TV, they see what society and what movies deems as pretty. So when they see that, they strive harder and harder to emulate what they're seeing. They
Absolutely.
want to look that way. Unfortunately, we don't get the behaviors because they don't behave that way, but they do what they can to try to look that way, failing to realize, like, you have to be your own individual when it comes to that.
That is absolutely true. And it's so
Mhm.
hard
Mhm.
for, I hate to use that term, but I have to
Mhm.
be realistic here. It
Mhm.
is hard for some to
Mhm.
be themselves
It
because
is.
society, like you just stated,
Mhm.
has us thinking our hair and we should look and we should walk, and even social
Mhm.
media as well, that we
Mhm.
should look and walk and talk a certain way and be a
Right.
certain way.
Right.
especially in certain ethnicities and different
Mm-hmm.
communities. So I absolutely
Yes.
agree with you.
Yep.
So, my opinion on that, and I'm going to ask Dr. T that question
Yeah.
as well, and we would
Mm-hmm.
love to hear your comments and your take on that
Mm-hmm.
too. Um, to the listeners is where do we start? Where do we start to build that I am who I am and I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically me? I
Right.
can say where I started, it started in my late 20s for me, where
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm done. I'm gonna
Right.
be me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still kind of straddling the fence, I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, going to school, and I was a young mother at that
Right.
time. So it was a lot of
Mm.
peer pressure. And then
Right.
I felt my self-esteem was very low at one
Okay.
time. I can admit
Mm-hmm.
that, people, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
So it started when I was young, and then I was a teenage mom, and then
Mm-hmm.
once I started looking at everyone else, and I just didn't feel right in the inside.
Right.
And I wanted to, where is Candace? And then I
Mm-hmm.
started to get to know me. I
Right.
was like, wait, I like her. She's a cool
Mm-hmm.
chick. Wait a minute. And then I started feeling better about me.
That's
I'll be
right.
honest with you people and you, Dr. T. It started with me once when I'm alone. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
alone, I'm like,
Right.
I'm feeling this. I like
Mm-hmm.
me. I was able to be
Mm-hmm.
me. So
Yep.
that's why the cork on the bottle popped off for me when I was in my late 20s, and I decided.
Mm-hmm.
I even shaved my head. I was like, I want
Mm-hmm.
locks. I'm gonna be a natural sister. I'm gonna let it
Uh-huh.
grow. So that's me, people. It started with
Yeah.
me in my late 20s when I decided I was gonna be me, and I got to know me. And who
Mm-hmm.
I got to know, I liked, and things that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like, I was able to change and
Mm-hmm.
grow. So, Dr. T, when did it start for you?
For
When
me,
you
it
was like, I'm
was,
gonna be unapologetically Dr. Tyra and F the world.
you know what? For me, it was like a bounce back. It was like in my 20s, I was like, I don't care. And then when I got to
Yeah,
my 30s, I was just like, do I care? And then by the time I got to my late 30s, I was like, no, I really don't care. It was like I went through the stages,
absolutely.
of caring and not caring. And then it was just like, no, I'm just going to be who I am and just not even care what anybody thinks. And it's like by the time I got to my 40s, I was like, the hell with it. I don't give a damn with nobody. I'm going to still do me.
Yeah,
You can love me or leave me, baby. I'm not going to change, for anybody. I'm going to continue doing who I am. I'm going to believe in myself because if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? And as long as I kept saying that to myself, I just kept doing what I need to do to keep myself, as grounded as I can because I knew, that basically listening to others and listening to what society says that wasn't going to work, and it don't help.
exactly.
It's like I think about, somebody, who I consider to be a friend trying to break my self-esteem. I remember we went on a trip and she was trying to tell me, she's like, oh, your clothes are so old and and it was just like all this negative stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm just like, well, you dress the way you dress, I dress the way I dress. Okay, just as simple as that, right? We go out, all these people pay compliments on my clothes, and I'm just like, well, I could care less, about their compliments, whatever, but it was just like it troubled me. Fast forward to 10 years later, not even 10 years later, I'm gonna say 5 years later, we go away. She had some friends come with her on this big trip that we went on, and I just remember her friends belittling her clothes. And I said, okay, so this is what y'all do. Y'all shatter each other's self esteem and think that's okay. So, at this point, like, okay, so this is what you do. You consider these friends or foes at this point. Because a friend shouldn't let you down and shouldn't talk about you and make you feel no type of way.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? And I'm just like, and this is the people that you want in your circle, sorrow or no sorrow. Like, come on, it shouldn't be that way. And
Absolutely.
so again, for me it was the stages, and then getting to that point where I don't listen to others, and it's
Yes,
just like because
that's
it's
it.
so easy to listen to somebody that you might respect, or somebody you feel is like a sister or a brother to you, and next thing you know, here they come with their nonsense, and you like, really, where did this
Hmm.
come from? But it happens. It
Yes, and it
happens.
will happen. And that's a very good point, Dr.
Hmm.
T. Someone wrote in the comments that they are a certain age and they still
Hmm.
haven't popped off. It still hasn't. change for them,
Change it.
shift it. Yes,
Hmm.
use for the sake of this broadcast, let's use the word shift. You still
Right.
haven't shift into standing your
Hmm.
ground and being with you.
Right.
It will, but my little tip, and Dr. T and I will give tips before the end of the segment.
Yes.
However, but this one, why it's still on my mind, is I think whoever wrote that, you got to get to know you. You got to
Yes.
find out why. Where that behavior come from. Because I
Hmm.
don't want people to think that's because Dr. T and I, we're not saying if you got, let me put our disclaimer on there now. And I think Dr.
Yeah.
T and I are friends and sisters. And I think I'm cool enough, I'm able enough to say this for the both of us. We are
Yes.
not saying that if you are battling right now with low self-esteem, that something is wrong with you and
It's
that, oh,
nothing.
you're just taking, no, no, no. What we're saying, if you are battling with low self-esteem, one,
Hmm.
we're here. You
Yep.
can get one of us or both of us. We're here to help you with that. We got all the tips
Yep.
and tools, and we'll try. What we don't
Yep.
know, we'll go get and bring it back to you. We'll figure it out.
Exactly.
However, we got to find out where that behavior comes from because
Right.
that is a behavior. That is a
Hmm.
way of thinking and then the behavior. It starts here
Hmm.
first. So you
Yes.
feel that way. Starts with
Yep.
the feeling, then you start thinking with the self-sabotage, the negative
Hmm.
behavior,
Yep.
the stinking thinking. It starts
Hmm.
that way. So it
Yep.
sounds like you may need a little help, which is okay.
Hmm.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
We all get help. I'm a therapist with a therapist.
I'm
Yes.
a therapist with a therapist also.
Right?
Because at the end of the day, between myself and Dr. Candace, we intake so much from so many people. We definitely have to work on, you know, making sure that we stay mentally well so that we can help other
Absolutely.
people, you know.
Absolutely.
It's,
Someone also wrote that they removed their vices when we
mm-hmm,
talked about how you and I made that
mm-hmm,
shift. We both kind of made that shift in our 20s, straddled on the fence. We on, we off, we on, we off. And then
mm-hmm,
we just said, forget it. And someone said they removed their vices. And then
mm-hmm,
another person, and no, you said it also,
mm-hmm.
support system. You need a support
Yes,
system. You
yes.
know, having
Mm-hmm.
toxicity and negative people around you,
Don't work.
it's a mess. You won't grow from that. You
Mm-mm.
have to remove your support. I mean, you have to remove toxic people.
Toxic people. And the thing is, this is one thing I will say about toxic people. They so bad they don't even know they toxic. You
Absolutely.
could tell them over. You
It's the
like
blind lead the blind. They don't know.
they don't know. They don't know. It's like they don't know and they don't care. Someone was saying earlier in the comments, they had a client talking about a client that they had who was suffering with self-esteem. TJ Self Care said, I had a client go from female to male and wasn't ready for the experience of being a black male and experienced more police brutality as a male than she ever did as a black woman and became depressed. Seeing that happen, seeing that happen a lot,
It happens a
with
lot.
people. It happens a lot.
Absolutely.
It happens a lot.
Especially what's been going on within the
Mm-hmm.
media and in our world and in our black and brown
Yes.
communities today. That has
Mm-hmm.
happened a lot,
Mm-hmm.
especially to a lot of our brothers feeling that way, feeling a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
especially to a lot of women that's with the brothers. We're
Right.
feeling a certain way as well because a lot of times they don't seek the assistance that they need, so they
Yep.
shut down, and then their partner
Yep.
feel, well, maybe it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Self-esteem is in everything that you do, people.
Yep.
Everything.
Everything.
Self-esteem is in everything that you do,
Mm-hmm.
and it affects you. And like Dr. T and I both said, it is situational. So
Yes.
it is. It's definitely
Mm-hmm.
situational.
It
So
is.
we both said that we shifted back and forth. What
Mm-hmm.
was the catalyst for you? I would tell you, Dr. T and everyone, the catalyst for me when I was like, this is who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and my self-esteem is where it's going to be. It's good. The catalyst for me was too much disappointment. And
Mm-hmm.
also, it was too damn hard to try to be someone else. It's easier to be Candace. Hey, I can't do it right or wrong. I'm her.
Mm-hmm.
I am her
Yep.
and she is me. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
So once I figured that out, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to be me. It's hard as hell trying to be a
Be
Kardashian.
somebody else. Okay. But wait a minute. Not even that. Look, not even that. And it was like so funny. I had dated somebody younger than me. And that's when the catalyst happened for me. I was like, Good Lord, the brain power is too much. I'm like,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no,
it's
no,
too
no, no,
much.
no, 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 no. I'm like, no, no, no. Let me just stick to my group, stick to the group, stick to the group, stick to the group, and stick to something old, either older or younger, because going backwards don't work. I'm like, because it was just like the mental capacity was just, the mindset was different, and it was just like, yo, this is not, it's not going. It's not going to work.
Absolutely.
And
It was
so,
too
and I think
much.
that for me, yeah, it was more stressful and draining than anything. It was just like
So
after
you
that,
felt being Tyra was easier?
yes, than trying to be tired of somebody else.
Yes. So you hear that, people? You hear what Dr. T said? And I said it as well.
Mhm.
Being trying to fit in and being someone else, that's hard. That's
Mhm.
hard as hell. It's
It's
easier to be
hard.
you. But Dr. T, let me ask you, do you think a
Mhm.
lot of people are not themselves because they don't know who they are? Or, multiple choice question, or it
Mhm.
could be both. Is it that they don't know who they are or they don't know how to be?
You know what? I'm gonna say it's both. I'm gonna say
Okay.
number one, they don't know how because they don't know who they are already. That's number one because they never was able to identify their own self identity. Okay. And so because they don't know who they are, they have all of these problems come up and things just constantly, eating at them. And it's just like they find themselves more depressed, more tearful because they never was able to acknowledge their own wants and needs, which is causing a lot of people to have a lot of tension. They're becoming high anxiety and things like that. Now, the second part of the answer was um what was it? Trying to remember what I said.
It was,
It
I
was
said number one is that
one
they don't know who
the
they are or they can't do it.
and now they can't do it because they're spending so much time watching everyone else that they want to try to be like these other people so hard that in their mind they just they focus, they preoccupy their focus so much on being this person, these other people, and try to do a combination of all of their behaviors. So like I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen, Dr. Candace, you might have seen this in a session where people in their voices, okay, and their voices change based off of people they see. Now, for example, not to bash the Kardashians, how many people have you heard with that type of voice in the past 10 to
Several.
15 years? Even their voices is even like that. Okay, they created
Absolutely.
their own voice. And what I mean by voice, I'm talking about this thing I'm speaking out of now. It's two
Yes, their
ways to
tone,
create. Right,
the
they
cadence of
created
the
that. They
voice.
right,
Absolutely.
exactly. And so it's like so many people out there that's trying to do that. It's other areas. I mean, other people out there. And I'm not going to address that issue this evening. Who also do something with their voice that makes them be distinguished from other people. That's also an issue, but it's just finding your own tone and your own voice to be your authentic self. And I think with so many people trying to pull a piece from this one and pull a piece from that one, that they start to lose their own authenticity. But on the back end, they never gained their authenticity because they never found out who they really was. And
Yeah.
we're not gonna say who you gonna find out. It's gonna take years to find out. Let me tell you, it can happen abruptly. Like, for example, had a client tearful, very tearful. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. Da 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 da. You need to sit down and you need to think about everything it is you want. Write it down. Start writing down what you want. As time progressed, what do you think happened? Now, it was shocking. It was like a week later. It was just like, I don't know what happened to me. I feel like something happened. I'm like, something like what? Went to bed, woke up, and my whole life changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided I want me.
Yeah.
And I said, it's good to choose you. You know what I mean? Because if you don't choose you, who else gonna choose you?
Absolutely.
Because people gonna
So,
choose you, but it's gonna be for the wrong reason. Go ahead,
absolutely. So,
Dr.
Dr.
Candace.
T, I absolutely agree with you. My take on that,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. T, my take on that is yes, a lot of people do not know who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and some people cannot. They don't know where to start. So I
Right.
totally agree with Dr. T. I want to add another part to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people know their voice. I think
Mm-hmm.
some people know who they are because I was one of them. Remember, Dr. T, and also to the audience as well, I brought up that I was shift in my 20s. One
Mm-hmm.
minute I'm Candace. Here I come. Next minute, I'm in the corner when other people
Mm-hmm.
are around, and I shift
Mm-hmm.
and want to get in. And it's for several reasons. I'll say it's a lot of reasons, but I'm just going to take on this. Several reasons why I think people do that, because this is why I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody want to be the first or the last.
Right.
And as human beings, we tend to follow the masses.
Yes.
We like that. We follow the majority. They all
Mm-hmm.
over there in that line. I'm going over there
Mm-hmm.
in that line too. They giving out something free. What's going on? So we tend to go over there. The
Yep.
second reason is when you are, I had a people pleasing mindset at one time, just for a
Mm-hmm.
short time, because that's really not my personality. So for
Right.
a real short time like this, I
Mm-hmm.
had a people pleasing personality.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have that people pleasing trait, that
Mm-hmm.
people pleasing, you tend to put you on the back, even though you know the
Yes.
real you, even though
Mm-hmm.
you know you want to say no, even though
Yes.
you laughing when shit ain't funny, even though
Yep.
you scratching when on nothing itch, you know
Yep.
you don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have that people pleasing mindset,
Yep.
you you tend to put you to the side, and the
Yes.
self-esteem starts to dwell. So
Yes.
then I get a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, Dr. C, my self-esteem is gone. And then the more we get to talking and I'm listening to
Mm-hmm.
them, they're people pleasers. They put
Yes.
everyone in front of them because they
Yep.
care what everyone thinks, and they're just like, I want to help, I want to help,
Mm-hmm.
overcompensating because you're
Right.
not happy.
Right.
That's the overcompensation.
Yes.
Cup
Yep.
overflowing, you didn't, now you give it from an empty
Mm-hmm.
cup. So
Yep.
that's my take on it. So
Yep.
my other question for you and also the audience, and we got some great comments as well.
I
My
know.
other question is,
Mm-hmm.
do you think, Dr. T, a lot of us with the self-esteem, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, we talked about it can start when we're small, it
Mm-hmm.
starts in relationships, it's situational, it can start at
Yeah.
work, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also think that certain professions. I want to just
Mm-hmm.
chime in on professions a little bit. When
Okay.
you have a certain profession, do
Mm-hmm.
you think a certain profession feel they have to look, dress, and be a certain way? We could take us, for instance, we are two
Mm-hmm.
Black doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I called this when we first started the broadcast, the new
Mm-hmm.
therapy, because we are.
Right. Right.
So do you think that has a lot to do with it? Like, what's your take on professionalism and having a certain career?
Certain careers you do have to. I think that, yeah, I agree. I think certain careers it is, you know, um, because when you look at some of the careers that's out there, there's already a stigma that's out there, on how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to dress, what you're supposed to, how you supposed your mannerisms. Okay. Now think back to my ex had a corporate job. Okay, and I just remember we was out and he was like, "Oh God, I got these shirts. I got to go get my shirts redone." And so, we had to go find a tailor. And the shirt, he had a brand on his arm because he a mega size 5, and he had a brand on his arm. Brand had to be covered because he worked in corporate America. If that was anything was exposed, that's your job. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I'm not free to be who I am. I can't, like it was burning up outside. And he still got sleeves that's like all the way past his elbow. Talk about this the new short sleeve. I was like, dude, no, that's the old short sleeve. Let's get rid of it. But couldn't because of that, when you look at lawyers and judges, they have to have a certain way. Surgeons have to look a certain way. Any medical doctor has to look a certain way. They can't just come in, like I said, they'll go and just go right in and do what they want to do, because that certain level of respect. You know what I mean? And people say, "Oh, the respect is changing, the level is changing because of." Yeah, teachers are included as well. Thank you, Harlem Mixtape. They have to look a certain way, but it's just like people say, "Oh, it's changing because of the times." But then you have to question yourself: Is it changing?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So my take on that, I
Mhm.
agree. You know, I'm agree with my sister because that's true. And someone says, yes, teachers, absolutely.
Mhm.
So I do
Yes.
agree with you when they say that, well, society has us thinking that
Right.
when you have a certain career, such as being a
You.
judge, a doctor,
Mhm.
a teacher,
Mhm.
whatever, you have to be a certain way. Do
Right.
you think that stigma is breaking? Because I think so, especially in our profession. Like, I'm a clinical psychologist. No, they
Mhm.
don't look like this. In
Mhm.
America, there are 4%, only 4% of black
Mhm.
psychologists, and I'm one of the four. And they
Right.
don't look like this. I
Right.
mean, I'm a sister. I
Mhm.
can't pass. If I put on a
Mhm.
white sheet, I couldn't pass.
Right.
I got locks, tattoos, and piercings.
Mhm.
Totally not traditional.
Right.
It's therapy, but that's
Mhm.
okay.
Right.
You get it? So do you
Mhm.
think it is
Yeah.
changing more, breaking that
I'm gonna
stigma?
say. I'm gonna say it's
Because that
break.
will taint our self-esteem. You agree?
I totally agree. I believe the stigma is broken in still in certain fields. Okay, because like when you
Yes,
still go into the medical hospital, they still have that standard. You know what I mean? That is never going to change. Like you will find that the doctors have, tattoos and piercings, but you only see that on their days off. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
Because people, they will look at them. Some people will look at them differently, but like with that realm, with attorneys, this I think is changing there. I think it's changing there because there's a lot of attorneys out there
You're
who
right.
have sleeves and don't care. And when they go, they do what they can to respect, with having, a jacket on. But when that jacket is off, that jacket is off. You
That's
know,
right.
should there be stigmas? No, it shouldn't be. Everybody should be free to do and look and present themselves, any way they wish.
Yes.
However, I think that when it comes to a lot of that, I think, we have to also be cautious on some of the areas that we do some of the things,
Yes.
because
And I want to say, because the word stigma is coming up, because
mm-hmm,
we talking about, it goes with self-esteem as well
right,
when you are
mm-hmm,
placing a certain thing.
mm-hmm,
But you know what? There's a difference. I don't know if everyone noticed, but I'm just going to put it
mm-hmm.
out there because this is a teachable moment. You have stigma and then you have concerns. They look
Yes,
alike, but they're two different things.
two
So if
different,
someone says, shouldn't stigmas exist?
mm-hmm,
Absolutely not. Because
right,
stigma is a negative thing. That means you are placing people or
mm-hmm,
individual in a certain box,
yep,
whether they have done the right or the wrong,
wrong,
and say, because
yes,
you look like, you got to sit in
mm-hmm,
this chair. Because you
right,
eat like, you walk like, you talk like, you smell like, you like, sit in this chair. That
yep,
is stigma. Now,
yep,
concerns is individual.
mm-hmm.
So I just want
That's
to
your
put that out
personal
there as a teachable
concern,
moment for the
mm-hmm,
therapy sisters, that it's a difference.
mm-hmm,
So, when people, if someone wants to say, should stigmas exist?
right.
Yes, they do exist, but should they?
Not at all. They shouldn't.
Absolutely,
They
So
shouldn't.
yes.
But
Yeah, so we all were saying, the people in the comments were saying as well, that
mm-hmm,
there's still certain professions. And
mm-hmm.
do you think that affects that person's, that individual's self-esteem?
I think it does. I think it can. I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna put it this way: for an individual who doesn't have self confidence, it will ruin their self esteem. Majority of the people that I know that are in those positions have impeccable self confidence, know their worth, and it doesn't bother them. You know what I mean? Because they go about their business and they live their life. But for someone who does have an issue with self-esteem, self-confidence, so yes, it will bother them.
Well said.
You know.
Absolutely, Dr. Chi. Beautifully said. That is so true, because I'll take myself, for instance, and then I'm going to ask you the question as well.
Mhm.
Being in our profession as Black therapists, and as women and Black women,
Mhm.
therapists, and in a profession that has been for centuries and many years belong
Mhm.
to older white males.
Right.
However, that's can it affect us? Because like myself, like how I look, and I'm in private practice and trying to
Mhm.
do this med school thing, and how
Mhm.
I look, it,
Mhm.
it could, if I had low self-esteem.
Right.
Absolutely. Like you
Mhm.
said, it could. But
Mhm.
since I don't care what they think, because
Right.
it cost me too much. It
Yeah.
was one time I did,
Mhm.
but it cost me too much.
Yeah. And my
Yeah,
thing is, yeah, when it costs as much as it does, because at the end of the day, it costs you your self
absolutely.
respect. It costs you, it can cause mental problems. It can cause physical problems. It can cost more than what caring what other people think. And it
Absolutely.
was like so funny because one day I remember a client saying somebody was sitting in a group when I was doing group therapy, anger management group therapy, and somebody said, "I am so upset because of what they thought about me, and they said this and they said that about me." And this lady turned around and looked at the other person and said, "What the hell you care about what they think about you? It ain't none of
Right?
your it's none of your business what they think about you. And why was you eavesdropping on them any damn way?" And all I could do was start laughing. I ain't mean to laugh, but it was just like I said, "Well, wait a minute, calm down." And she said, "No, I'm just saying this." And this was then the women, they was like that one was 40 and one was 50. And it was the 50-year-old who was impaired, like upset over all of this. And I just remember she's like, "Mind your damn business." And I think that's where the problem is. We spend so much time worrying about what other people think. Guess what? If somebody don't like you, it's none of your business. If they didn't come to
It's
you
not
and
your
say,
concern.
"Hello, I don't like you," or if they talking about you to other people, if they didn't come directly to you, it's none of your business. Now, when they bring it to you, that's when it's your business. But that's the thing. That's when we get all involved. You know what I mean?
So you're right. So Dr. T, let's talk about that. We do get involved. What are
Hmm.
some of the reasons you think we get involved? I have mine. I want to hear yours. What's some of the reasons you think we get too involved?
I think we get too involved, number one, because number one, I think sometimes with some individuals, they're busybodies and they are drama driven and they, live for the toxicity. So they want to be able to have something to talk about and also being able to defend themselves. I think people become involved because they just, they want to answer. They want to be liked. They want acceptance. They get tired of having all of the rejection, so they want this acceptance. And so that's why I feel like a lot of people get involved. I don't want anybody to, I want everybody to like me and I want everyone to love one another. Failing to realize it's going to be some people out there that's not going to love you or like you. But at the end of the day, they just need to respect you and respect your space.
Absolutely. That beautifully said, Dr.
Yep.
T.
And what is your
Absolutely agree.
and what is
M-
and what is your answers, Dr.
And
Candace?
my answer to that is control. I have a couple
Mhm.
answers. My first one is control. I think
Mhm.
a lot of people get too involved because they want to be in control.
Mhm.
Because two reasons why they may want to be in control.
Mhm.
They're not in control of their own damn life, so they find it easier to go open somebody else's Pandora box because they don't want to open theirs. So
Yes.
there you go. The other
There you
reason of
go.
control I think
Mhm.
people tend to do is because
Mhm.
there's something they just have to have. I'm not, it's just something they
Mhm.
feel validated. They feel
Mhm.
wanted, especially when
Mhm.
they have control. They just
Mhm.
have that control. Make have a little
Yes.
narcissistic behavior. That's another topic.
Yes.
But yeah, just
Mhm.
have that control.
Yes.
Another one is some people can be addicted to negativity.
All the time.
You can be addicted to anything. It ain't just
Yes.
gambling, food, sex, money, and drugs and alcohol. You can be
Mhm.
addicted to negativity as well. So that's
Yes.
another thing. My
Mhm.
third thing is your mindset. You can have a
Yes.
fixed mindset till this is it. I care what
Mhm.
people think. I feel this way.
Mhm.
I can wake up on Monday and feeling like $1 million. I go over here to this set of friends and I come home
Mhm.
feeling like $2
Yep.
because you keep
There it
going
is.
back to the abuser. Just and then they taint your mindset and make you feel bad
Mhm.
about yourself.
And then you
And the
come home
fourth one
feeling
is
for the worst.
validation.
Mhm. Yep.
And when you're searching for validation and you're not necessarily getting what you want or what you expect,
Mhm.
the self-esteem.
Yes.
Self-esteem is something. Self-esteem is powerful. And
Yes.
do you think, my question, I have another question, Dr. T. Do you think that you can have too much self-esteem? And I don't want to mix this with confidence, people. Self-esteem, I'm sorry, not confidence, misspoke. Conceited. Being conceited and maybe having a grandiose or narcissistic behavior. Other
Mhm.
topic, Dr. T, and I know we'll cover that later in
Yep.
the other sessions. However, for the sake of this broadcast, I'm saying,
Mhm.
do you think some people can become so confident, or maybe, I don't want to
Mhm.
misspeak,
Mhm.
or to where the self-esteem is very high to where they don't even see maybe the flaws that they could work on?
That's a good question, and
You know,
that's
someone can
yeah.
be in a
Mhm.
job, a relationship, or
Mhm.
anything, and they're like,
Mhm.
really good people. You know, they're good. They're a
Yes.
good person. Like again, no
Mhm.
narcissistic behavior.
Yes.
However, their self-esteem is their level is very high, but they're
Mhm.
not able to see what they may can fix.
I
Because
believe.
they're like,
Mhm.
no, I'm just going to continue to do this. I'm this, and
Yes.
I'm just going to keep working on it. But
Mhm.
they're going in the same way, have not
Mhm.
shift or changed their trajectory, and they're getting the
Right.
same result, and it's not good. So
Right.
my question is, can someone have such high self-esteem where it may even go over to being conceited, or they're not even able to see the flaws?
I honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. I think some people do have so much self-esteem that they don't see their flaws because they think that they are what doesn't exist is perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Sorry for anybody that's on this broadcast that thinks it does. It doesn't. I think when situations like that occur, I think that some people do become conceited, and it's just like, and then the one thing I remember we used to say when we were younger is not conceited, it's convinced, but is it convinced? How did you convince yourself? What did you do to convince yourself to make you think that you are, doing X, Y, and Z? You know what I mean? When it comes to the whole, feeling confident, feeling happy, knowing your self worth, knowing, So yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. With self-esteem, I find
Mhm.
it, I don't know, Dr. T, if you
Mhm.
find this as well with self-esteem and maybe in
Mhm.
some of your clientels and maybe some of the people on the broadcast can maybe chime in on this with your comments
Mhm.
that with self-esteem, do you
Mhm.
find it hard to keep up or like, does it remain the same or is it an up and down for some?
Hmm. That's a
Does
good
it remain the
question.
same? Like you got it, you got it. If
Or
you
you?
don't, you don't. Or
Mhm.
is it up and down?
I would
What
think
is it
it.
for you, Dr. T?
I would say up and down. I would say it would go up and down. Because some areas you might feel that you are totally, confident. You totally have it, but then there's moments where you just feel, just like, okay, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, but I'm okay.
There
And
you
I
go.
and it's individual basis, but at the end of the day, it's just knowing that you're okay that helps it.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
that's why I asked that question, Dr. T, because I
Mhm.
set it up for something beautiful. You said it's a little bit of both and that it's okay. So that's why I asked that question is
Mhm.
letting the people know she's absolutely right. It's okay not to be okay. And your self-esteem will go up. Like I said, you can feel some way on Monday and Monday going to work and Monday night you
Mhm.
feel another because it
Right.
can also be situational on how people can make you feel and
Right.
not saying that you are at a weak moment. It could be someone
Mhm.
you care about. What if you're in a
Right.
relationship and
Right.
they say something?
Mhm. Right.
So when we say that it can be up and down, are we
Mhm.
saying self-esteem and self-awareness are two different things?
Mhm.
You see how I'm
Right.
setting up the questions?
Right. I see how you setting up the questions. So we
That's
got
why we're a team.
mhm.
We own it.
So we got somebody put questions in the comment, and so let's see, I'm gonna go with the first thing. They said, I've been abused throughout my life, so now that I'm working on me, I'm noticing that I'm allowing, and I'm gonna bring in the second part, I'm allowing people to abuse me, and they abuse me and turn around and do things to make me feel accepted okay, by the abuser. 911 help. So
Okay.
so
I
she
heard just
needs
a little bit of that. So
mm,
I'm going to repeat what I think I heard.
okay,
Was the
I can repeat
question
it.
that
Yeah, I can repeat it back. I'll repeat it to you
okay,
again. Okay,
okay,
I've been abused throughout my life. So now that I'm working on me, I'm noticing that I'm allowing people to abuse me, and they abuse me and turn around and do things to make me feel accepted by the abuser.
Oh, well, the second thing that they are doing, sorry, the third thing, because the abuse is one,
Hmm.
and then manipulation. But the third thing they are doing is definitely called gaslighting. When
Yes.
someone got the nerve to abuse you, but then turn it
Hmm.
around and
And
you
make it.
are left sitting like
Hmm.
it's your fault. That is
Yes.
gaslighting. So I think this person, thank you for writing that, for
Yes.
writing in and opening
Thanks for
up.
your. Yep. Thanks for your question and your
Yeah,
comment.
thank you for your question, and that was very brave. And we're both, Dr.
Hmm.
Tyra, and I are very proud of you for putting that out there. Is
Yes.
that my little unsolicited advice
Hmm.
is if that is going on, what is happening, I think you should seek help. You need to
Yes.
speak with someone.
Hmm.
Um, that being abused, and now that you are working on yourself, I'm very proud of you for that, because now you're
Very
starting to
proud.
advocate for yourself, as in
Yes.
working on yourself. And when we work on ourselves, we tend to get clarity, and then you
Hmm.
start seeing, we could be real on therapy, sisters, you start
Yes.
seeing shit you ain't never seen before once
Yes.
you start working on you.
You.
So
Hmm.
that's one thing. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse. I'm glad
Hmm.
that now you are able to see it. Now we
Yes.
got to do something about it. We
Yes.
do. We have to do something about it now. It's I don't, for the sake of this broadcast, I'll probably be premature to say you need to get out that situation when I don't know the situation. But now
Hmm.
it's time to do something about it. Knowing was
Yes.
half the battle. You know now because you're working on you, so you have some
Yes.
clarity. Now it's
Yes.
time to do something about it. If you are being abused physically, oh, we could do something about it today. If you
Yes.
are being it's abused and maybe the gaslighting, as I see that it's
Hmm.
going on, and it's family
Yes.
members who don't live in your home,
Hmm.
Dr. T and I can show you ways you can shut that down. So
Easy.
there's things that you can do, and it can be
Hmm.
subtle things, because it sounds like a person with your, and I'm going on a limb saying here because I do not know you and you're not a client of mine.
Right.
However, it sounds like you do not have boundaries and you don't know how to set them. So Dr. T
Hmm.
and I will be able to show you how
Out of
to
set.
say, um, slow no, I'm sorry, slow yeses instead of, I'm sorry, slow no's instead of fast yeses, because that's
Right.
what it seems like it is happening. You have to learn
Hmm.
how to set boundaries. And
Yes.
I know myself don't like to push somebody out there and just like, okay, we're going to set this boundary and this is it.
Right.
Oh, that's like leaving an abused relationship. You got to leave
Yep.
probably 7 times. You
Yep.
be back making the
Yep.
same damn mistake. So
Exactly.
boundaries have to be implemented. So that's my take. What's your take, Dr.
Yep.
T?
Agree. I think that healthy boundaries is definitely something that is needed when you have these type of relationships. You have to set boundaries. You have to set the tone. You have to be able to be assertive enough to express your needs. Because a lot of people don't. Tiana, she said block them all. So yeah, but yeah, blocking does help too, but you got to be able to have those boundaries and be able to feel comfortable enough to remove them. And so our next comment was Sharonette Bennett says, love you both, great live. Is this reoccurring live that will happen again? Yes, we will be doing it again. We're going to talk and let everybody know. We're going to have conversation once this live is done and talk about when we're going to do our next one. But we're looking like maybe, possibly, probably either once a month or twice a month. We're still in the works, but we will definitely keep all of you posted. We just glad all of y'all
Thank
was able to
you.
join us here this evening. Tonight, we said we wasn't going to go long past like I normally go. We're not doing that tonight, y'all.
Yes, I
So
wanted to chime in before we wrap
yes.
it up,
No, yeah,
Dr.
go
T,
ahead.
with,
No, we
I think
good.
it's Eva Marie. Let me see if I can
Yes.
see it. I want to say it correctly. Is it
Yes.
Eva Marie Levin? Hi, Queen. Hello to you.
Yes.
Yes, you asked a question. I don't know if you're asking or is
Mm-hmm.
that a rhetorical question that you're stating is hard to set boundaries. Yes, it is. That is
Yes.
the hard part, is to create a plan and for
Mm-hmm.
each individual, because everybody should have boundaries, including the dog. Everybody, there's a boundary.
Yes.
Should have boundaries with
Yes.
everything and everybody. However,
Mm-hmm.
it is difficult, but the key is, so it's difficult starting. The
Yes.
That's a little difficult, but the
Mm-hmm.
key is consistency. Everything
Yes.
is hard until you do it. Math was hard
Mm-hmm.
until we all learned it.
Yep.
Calculus was hard as hell, and some don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, everything
And
is hard. Driving
spelling.
was hard until you start driving.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
spelling is
So
hard till
everything
you
is
learn it.
hard until you
Mm-hmm.
start doing it. But the
Yep.
key is to be consistent. Once you set a boundary, that's it.
Yep.
However, I'll give you a little tip about boundaries, everyone. Boundaries start with self.
Yep.
Boundaries start with self. Absolutely. There's no way you'll be able to set boundaries for individuals when you don't have
Mm-hmm.
boundaries for yourself.
Exactly.
And one of the
Exactly.
boundaries should be consistent,
Mm-hmm.
being committed to the commitment, saying to yourself, I'm going to go set these boundaries for 10 of those people over there. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
boundaries is different, even if you got to write it down. But
Yep.
boundaries start with self.
But I'm going to say, write it down, because sometimes we people will set a boundary and then they change. But here's the thing: when you set those boundaries, you have to stick to them, because see, that's
Yes.
the biggest problem. People will create a boundary, but then after you create it, you renege on it, and you go ahead and you giving them what they want. So what was that? Boundary deferred. No. When you
Yes.
create it, you have to stick with it, because if you don't stick with it, it will fizzle out and no one will ever listen to you.
That's right. Dr. T is absolutely right. And also, everyone,
Mm-hmm.
boundaries
Mm-hmm.
are safety precautions. They
Yes.
are protection. Boundaries insurance. It keeps you safe.
Yes.
So just look at it as like that. Boundaries going to keep me safe. It's protection. It
Yes.
protect you.
Yep. Protect you from others, and it can
Yes, people
also
pleasing
protect
is a
you from self.
no-no.
You got that right. I mean, because people will please people. You can people please people to death, just to give them what they want. And then when you decide to choose you, that's when all hell breaks loose, because you have given so much of yourself to others that now that you choose you, it's,
Mhm.
well, why? Because I love me.
Absolutely.
I love me more. And it's okay. It's okay to love you more than someone else. It's okay.
Yeah,
You.
and that's a topic that I hope Dr. T and I will cover
Yes.
about love and relationships, because when you
Yes.
just said love you more and that's okay, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
are not aware that you share your life. You don't
Yes.
give your life away. So that's
Mm.
where that boundary comes. You're like, no, I'm gonna share my life with you.
Yes.
I'm not gonna give you my damn life. So,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that be
Mm-hmm.
one that we target real soon.
Yes. And Wendy said, I used to create a boundary, and then once things are going well, I loosened it, and the issue happened again. So firm boundaries must remain in place. Correct. Firm boundaries must remain in place, because other than that, these folks will walk all over you when you loosen it up, even with your kids, because they the first ones you need to be setting them boundaries with. Can I go out and play? No. Stay in the
Yes,
house. Just as simple as
absolutely.
that. As soon as you let them outside, then all hell break loose. So it's like now you in a rut. So it's like at this point, we gotta definitely work on that. And Evie Marie says, I had a hard time loving me more. Oh, Evie Marie, virtual hugs, but we want you to
Yes, giving you
love
virtual hugs.
you
I definitely
more, Evie.
understand that, Evie. I
Mm-hmm.
do. I do. So, Evie, I believe you probably have a hard time loving yourself because you
Mm-hmm.
weren't taught to. A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
wasn't taught that,
Right. A lot of
because
us
we was
wasn't.
taught, you care for others, you do this, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be other things as well. But we have to start that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely do. We
You
have to
may
know
want to
how to.
speak with someone, Evie, because you
Yeah.
deserve it. You owe no one nothing. You owe you everything.
Mm-mm. Exactly. Exactly. And so, self love is not selfish at all. It's self love.
Absolutely. And
And as long as
yes,
you love
we got to do a talk
yourself,
on that one.
you got to love yourself first, because self love is totally not selfish, you know.
Absolutely. We got to do a talk on self love, because you're absolutely right about
Mm-hmm.
that. A lot of us was not taught to love ourselves. Like I stated,
Right.
we weren't taught that,
Yep.
and people think it's selfish, and it's not.
Not at all. It's totally not at all. Totally
Yeah.
not at all. We just got to do more of it. But this was awesome. How y'all like our
Yes, it
discussion for the
was.
night? For our first night of doing therapy, sisters. So I
Yes.
still do recovery room, but I just said this is a piece that, I'm adding to it, because everything has breakout sessions. And this is something that was near and dear to my heart, that I thought that we could, definitely start doing, on Saturday night, so that we could, talk about things, talk about situations in mental health, and having a safe space for people to be able to share, whether it's in the comments, if you add in questions, you definitely, all of you can feel free to DM me and Dr. Candace, if
Absolutely.
y'all need referrals or if you're in our states, Dr. Candace is in California. I'm in Pennsylvania. We doing our East Coast, West Coast thing, y'all.
Yes, yeah,
Trying to get it
absolutely.
started.
Before we wrap up, it's
Yes.
a woman on here, a young woman
Hmm.
on here. Is it Eva Marie?
Yes. She says, I don't
Please
practice
DM
self
myself
care
for
or
Dr.
self love.
Tyra, please.
Yes.
Please send us a DM. I would
Yes.
love to talk to her.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
her and sincerely Angie B. We want DMs from all of you. And if you could let
absolutely.
us know how the show was, that's fine too. Definitely DM us, so that we can connect with all of you. And, if y'all need any kind of help, we definitely here to help, each and every one of y'all that's on our live tonight. I know we see some people in and out, but we definitely want to be able to help help everybody that we possibly can, and that was the goal for doing this mission. I think we had a successful mission accomplished. We definitely got to give some tips though before we go.
Yes, I know we
Yeah.
didn't read over time and stuff, but this was amazing. Uh, what our plan is to just
Yes.
talk about mental health, and also,
Yes.
Dr. T, don't you think if they would like topics that you too would like for
Hmm.
us to chime on, to hit,
Hmm.
and with the topics that you put in there, Dr. T and I will collab over those,
Yes.
come up with questions or whatever, and then
Hmm.
also we can give questions like little tips
Yes.
on how to
Yep.
cope. Yeah, this was
Yes.
our first night, and I appreciate everyone for rocking with us.
Yes.
This
This
was
was
awesome.
awesome.
I
Yep.
was
This was
so
so
honored to be
awesome.
on here with my sister and talk about what I love. Like
Yes.
my practice and mental health is my fifth child and my third parent.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So y'all
Yes.
know mental health chick. That's my life. So to
Yes.
be on here with my sister, this was awesome. I
Yes.
enjoy
Yes.
everybody for
Look,
rocking
that's
with
what we
us.
probably need to change our name to, the mental health chicks.
There you go. This was our first one. We could do that. There you go, T. Do that.
Look, we was battling, y'all, trying to figure out names, and we was like, okay, what to come up with. And I said, the kid is like, well, I said, therapy sisters. That sounds good. We was just all over the place. We was trying to pick a color. We was just all over the place. So yes, we figuring it out. And it was just like, and I said, oh my goodness. That was like, I meant to call Dr. Holly and see if she wanted to join us. I'm just like, we all over the place. But
Right?
look, we was able to do it, able to bring it and do what we need to do. So yes.
But I love it. And I'm open. If you can leave it this or you can call it the mental health chicks with the mental plug, whatever. I
Look,
love it.
look. We gonna rock. We gonna figure. Me and you gonna figure it out. We gonna have our own group vote. Look, our group vote with the two of us.
I know. I like what Alex said. He was like, this need a podcast, don't we? Put that in the universe.
I'm glad you put it in the universe, because that's definitely something that we could definitely work on. Thank you, Alex, for giving us the idea. You know, Yeah, thanks, Tiana. That's for the dedication. Yeah, I mean, we're dedicated to our careers and dedicated to what we do, and so that's why
Absolutely.
we want to definitely spread the love and spread the joy to everyone. You know, and so let's pop off a couple tips for our self-esteem, and then we going to do what we need to do. Alrighty. So the first tip I had was for people to be able to identify and challenge their negative beliefs. So
Okay.
that's one tip. What's the tip that you have?
And my first tip
Mm-hmm.
is for people to build their self-esteem. Take care of, now y'all know what I'm getting ready to say.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your mental and physical health. They go hand to hand, people. That is the
Yes.
quickest way to build your self-esteem. I
Mm-hmm.
have so many people to come to me
Mm-hmm.
in my practice, and a lot of their symptoms and what they have going on is also physical as well. And I
Yes.
see that doing the med school. You have to. You have to
Yes.
take care of your mental and physical health. That would definitely build your self esteem.
They
That's
both
my
go
first
hand.
tip.
Yep, they go hand in hand. All right. So my second tip would be identify the positives about yourself. Everybody has good qualities. Even the most dangerous person that you can think of has a positive quality. Know what your positive qualities are. Look for the good in yourself. Look in the good in yourself instead of focusing in on the bad. Because we all have positive things going on within us.
Hmm.
Okay, Dr. Candace.
And my second tip is to get to know you.
Ooh.
Get to know you, because in order to, because it's one thing to say I want to build my self-esteem, but I always ask the ladies in my clientele, who are you? So I know
Mm-hmm.
what to build from. We all a tree. Get to
Yes.
know you. And
Mm-hmm.
what you don't like, we can grow from that. And what
Yes.
you like, just like Dr. C said, that you like, we're going to focus on the positive. They go
Yes.
hand in hand. So get to know you.
Yes. Yep. There it is. Boom. My third tip is going to be give yourself a break.
Like that.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm saying give yourself a break because the bottom line is you got to know when to step back, when to say no. No, no means next opportunities. I know y'all hear me saying that all over these IG streets, but I say it on every street. Next opportunity. Give yourself a break. You can't do everything. And know that it's okay that you can't do everything. I want you to be able to do what you can for you, but just give yourself a break. Give yourself a break from social media. Give yourself a break from always saying yes.
That's right. Absolutely. I love
Mm-hmm.
that one. That one was awesome. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
piggyback. I got
Look.
one, but I'm just going to chime in on Dr. T's. Absolutely. Show yourself some grace.
Oh, I love that,
There you
Dr.
go.
Candace.
That's
I
that's the
love
saying.
that.
Giving
I
yourself a
love
break.
that.
Show yourself some grace. However,
Mm-hmm.
but my other one was, because Dr. T was right, change your mindset. You
Yes.
change your mindset and you change your glasses.
Mm-hmm.
What you see, you'll be seeing the same thing, but it'll look different to you. You got to
Mm-hmm.
change your mindset, because if you're walking
Yes.
around here with a fixed mindset and low
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem, come on now, let's make it match. Let's
Yes.
make it match from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new therapy. Okay,
Yep.
from the therapy sisters, you got to make it match.
Make it
You can't
match.
be on the outside looking like $1 million, but feeling like $2 in the inside. Let's
Right.
make it match.
Yep.
So you got to change the mindset. That
Mm-hmm.
is very important. And somebody wrote
Yes.
in vitamins. Absolutely. Absolutely. A
Yes.
lot of times it's not mental, it's not emotional. It is
Mm-hmm.
something with your immune system, and you are
Yes.
lacking vitamin D. You are lacking certain things, or that serotonin. Your
Yep.
serotonin levels are really low, and that can
Yep.
make you feel a certain way about yourself, and you'll start to feel
Exactly.
bad.
Yep.
Yes. So it may not even be psychological. You'll come see someone like myself or Dr. T, and we looking at you like, after we do our
Mm-hmm.
assessment, and we
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't think it's psychosomatic. I don't think they
Mm-hmm.
need us. You got
Right.
to go to the doctor, because it's in the
Mm-hmm.
immune. It's in the
Right.
body.
It's in the body.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly. And my next one is going to be become more assertive
There
and
you go.
learn to say no. Again, next opportunity. It's okay to be able to speak up for yourself. If you don't speak up for yourself, who's going to speak up for you? You have
Absolutely.
to know, you have to be able to let people know your thoughts and your feelings especially when it's something that you don't clearly want to do.
Absolutely. That's
That
true.
part that mm-hmm.
I totally agree. My last one is with Dr. T. I agree. Advocate for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to advocate. But I have good news for everybody that joined this broadcast tonight, being to
Mm-hmm.
get these nuggets and be inspired and share with myself and Dr. T. Coming
Mm-hmm.
here tonight, you did advocate for you. When you lied,
Yes.
when you logged on to this live, that's
Yep.
advocating for you. When you
Yep.
logged on to this live, you was
Mm-hmm.
checking on your mental health. When you
Yep.
logged on to this live, you wanted
Mm-hmm.
and tried to be inspired or nosy. It doesn't matter, but you was inspired.
Exactly. Exactly. Boom. There you go. So I hope these tips helped all of you. And I'm glad that y'all all came through. And if you was being nosy, I hope you was able to get a ear feel from everything that we was talking about tonight, because we was just
Yes.
trying to drop some nuggets, talk about all of the things that is that goes on in society. And bottom line is today is May 1st, which is awesome because we started our mental health month.
Yeah.
On and pop it. Gossip and Huffles. They say they here for the comments.
I know, right? I love them.
I know they my girls. They crack me up here for the comments. I know that's right. Look, 'cause that's what we
We
be
gotta
doing.
go to their live after this.
Okay. We go to their live and them comments be live. Woo.
Comments be lit like the shade room.
Okay. Yeah, but Yes, but you
Laughing
were
is mental health.
laughing. Okay, okay. I look at laugh for me with anger management. My acronym for laugh is live anger free. Boom. That's laughing. You
There
know,
you go.
living anger free. So, but I want to thank you, Dr. Candace.
Of course, Dr. T. I love this.
Yes, we want to thank all of you for coming through and sharing y'all evening with us and everything. This live will be saved so that you can all go through and check us out and listen and catch up on everything that we were speaking about this evening, Um yeah, laughing is therapy, gossip and heifers. Yes, it is. And we definitely love to laugh, because laughing, I know laughing does burn calories,
Yes.
so, so the more you laugh, child, sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to laugh for hours. But we want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Please make sure you're following myself. Make sure you're following Dr. Candace. You can find us both on IG. Dr. Candace has a number of events coming up. So definitely make sure you go to her pages and subscribe to her newsletters so that we can so she could also, you could basically take a stand for yourself and be able to identify what you need mental health wise and everything. And so this was an awesome, awesome Saturday night.
Yes, it
Yay.
was. Thank you, everyone. We loved it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. And I will see all of y'all again tomorrow evening. Tika, my producer, do I have a guest tomorrow night? So so we gotta, I don't know if she's still on here or not. She might have went to bed, but I suppose I will be on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for Tyras Just Saying, where I'll be interviewing a business owner. So we'll find out who I'll be interviewing tomorrow evening.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good evening. God bless. And we will talk to you all later. Take care, everybody. All right,
Bye,
Dr. Candace.
everybody.
All right. Love you, Dr. Candace. Take care.
Bye, you too.
Bye.